Thank you, Neil. Here's what's happening in the region. The United States military has accused a Venezuelan fighter aircraft of endangering the crew of a U.S. Navy plane in international airspace. The BBC reported that the Venezuelan plane made an unsafe approach and aggressively shadowed the U.S. reconnaissance aircraft over the Caribbean Sea. Venezuela said the U.S. plane had entered Venezuelan airspace without permission. Relations between the two countries have been tense for years. The incident happened on Friday, the same day the U.S. Treasury Department imposed sanctions on 4 members of Venezuela's military counterintelligence directorate for their alleged role in the physical abuse and death of a Venezuelan Navy captain, Rafael Acosta. Saying that the recent upsurge in murders was unacceptable, Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of National Security, Stuart Young, on Sunday implored citizens to help get guns off the street by making reports to Crime Stoppers. Young briefed reporters at his ministry on Sunday, where he noted that he earlier met the Prime Minister and Crime Stoppers to launch a new initiative. This will include offering rewards through the Crime Stoppers program, where persons can call in anonymously and provide law enforcement with information and intelligence. The Trinidad Security Minister said government would fund the initiative. The murder toll nears 300 for Trinidad and Tobago thus far for this year. The health minister in the Democratic Republic of Congo has resigned from his post in protest at the presidency's decision last week to take control of the response to the Ebola outbreak in the east of the country. According to the BBC, Ali Lunga's resignation letter decried what he described as interference in the management of the response to the outbreak, the second deadliest in history. He also criticized outside pressure to roll out a second experimental Ebola vaccine against his wishes. Since last August, more than 1,700 people have died. Last week, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak an international health emergency. Iran says it has arrested 17 spies who it says were working for the CIA and sentenced some of them to death. The intelligence ministry said the suspects had been collecting information in vital sectors, including military and nuclear areas of activity. The BBC reported that U.S. President Donald Trump has dismissed the claims, saying the report is totally false. Tensions have escalated in recent weeks between Washington and Tehran. President Trump last year abandoned the international nuclear deal with the Iranians, and the U.S. has imposed sweeping economic sanctions on them. In recent weeks, the two countries have come close to military conflict in the Gulf. Iran says the spies who are alleged to work for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency were arrested over a 12-month period up until March this year. The 17 were all Iranians working in sensitive centers in military and nuclear facilities and the private sector who had acted independently of each other, the BBC reported, quoting a top Iranian intelligence official. Hong Kong police are facing accusations of failing to protect pro-democracy activists who were attacked by unidentified assailants on Sunday. The BBC reported that opposition lawmakers say police inaction allowed criminals to beat up peaceful demonstrators after a rally. Dozens were injured when they were set upon by masked men wielding sticks. Police say their forces were stretched during another day of unrest. Hong Kong has been rocked by weeks of protests sparked by an extradition bill. Late on Sunday, video footage showed groups of men dressed in white shirts and suspected to be triad gangsters beating passengers with rods at a train station. According to the BBC, there's speculation that the attackers have links with criminal gangs known as triads. 45 people were injured, with one person in a critical condition. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Neil.